guys, so it's getting towards the end of 2018 now, and as it turns out, upon reflection, there are quite a few books that I wanted to read this year and I just never got to them, and I have no idea why. I literally have no idea why. Half of these were on TBRs and I just never read them, and I don't know why. So I'm probably going to end up reading them in 2019, but I thought I would share them with you now because, well, loads of people are, and it sounded like a good time. So without further ado, here is the books I wish I had read in 2018. The first two are The Colour of Magic and The Light Fantastic. Now, these two are the first Discworld books ever written. Colour of Magic comes first, then The Light Fantastic. I'm putting these in one sort of entry to this because these are usually in a bind-up, and this one is a sequel to this one, so I'm counting them as one. And I really wish I'd read these because I've watched the adaptation to them and I really enjoyed it. This is also obviously the first one in the Discworld series, and I adore the Discworld series, and I have no idea why I have not read these two. These two kicked it all off. Rincewind is in it, along with all of the Unseen University, who I absolutely adore as characters, and yet I still haven't read them yet. I have no idea why, but they are at the top of my list for next year. Next is The Lies of Locke Lamora. Now this one, I don't know why. Well, actually no, I do know why I haven't read this one. It's over 500 pages. It's a Tom Topple book, and that's probably why I haven't read it yet. Simply because it's over 500 pages, and that terrifies me. And now I've only just started doing Tom Topple, and even though my New Year's resolution was to read bigger books, this one just wasn't at the top of the list of my priorities, but it is for next year because I have to read this. I've heard so many good things about it. I cannot ignore it any longer. I also really wish that I'd read Every Heart a Doorway. I recently bought this a couple of months back, I think now, and it's been sitting on my shelf staring at me going, read me, read me, read me, and I still haven't done it yet. And quite frankly, I hate myself for it. This book is so short, it would literally take me like a couple of hours, and yet I still haven't read it yet. Why am I like this? Next one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, because originally I wanted to read these books at the beginning of next year, and obviously that is now going to be the thing. I'm going to be reading one a month until I finish the series, basically, because I've only read the first 4, and that was when I was a child and I can't remember anything. But I kind of wanted to read this after watching Crimes of Grindelwald because I was in such like a Harry Potter mood, and I was just totally into that world at the time because I actually quite like Crimes of Grindelwald, but that's a completely different story. But I kind of wanted to read this then, but I actually have a reason for putting this one off, and that is because we are missing the 4th book. I don't know where it's gone. It's gone missing in the move. It's probably in the loft, but I can't find it. And all the other books in this series are quite battered and bent. So what I've done is asked for the big box set for Christmas. Hopefully I'm going to get it, and then I can just read the entire way through on nice, fresh, new copies where I've got all the series, so I don't have to wait for any more. So that is actually why I put this off. Next one is Dread Nation. I've wanted this book ever since it came out, and there's this huge hype about it. And I still haven't read it yet. I literally bought this and went, I'm going to read that immediately, and then never did. I just haven't read it yet, and I really want to, so this is serious priority for next year. Next is the only book in my V.E. Schwab collection that I haven't read, and that is The Archive, because I then realised that there was a bind-up coming out of both of these books and decided to wait, and I still don't own it yet because I've been banned from buying it because it's nearly Christmas. So I'm now waiting for the bind-up so I can just read both books in one go. Obviously, I know it's only a duology at the moment because the last book got cancelled for whatever reason, but I'm still so interested in reading the series and finding out all about it because it just sounds so awesome, and I just really want to read it, but I am putting it off until I have the bind-up in my hands. I've also got I Darken, which I don't know why I haven't read this yet. There were several times where I was going to read it before I knew I was going on a book haul, so if I liked it I could buy the next two in the series, and I still haven't read it yet. I simply ran out of time with this one. I genuinely ran out of time, which I hate doing, but just seems to be the way of things going at the moment, so I'm definitely going to read this next year. I'm too intrigued not to. It just sounds fantastic and right up my alley, and I cannot ignore it any longer. Stardust by Neil Gaiman is definitely more of a recent buy, but again, look how short it is. So I should be able to read this. I recently rewatched the film like a few weeks ago and was completely in love with it again like I was originally, and I really wanted to read the book. I've recently obtained the book and I still haven't read it. It's so short. I could read this like that, and actually, if I have time, I may read this before the new year, but I'm not counting on it because I've still got quite a few books to get through. So I have no idea if I'm actually going to get to it or not, but I'm hopefully going to, maybe. If not, this is my first book of 2019 without fail. And finally, Sleeping Giants. I've heard about this book everywhere for months, and I still haven't read it. Why? I don't know. I've heard about it everywhere. I want to get into it. It sounds so interesting and like a really great sci-fi, and I've been trying to get more into sci-fi this year, and I still haven't picked it up. Why? I need to read this. This is, again, priority for next year so I can get it done and dusted, but I should have read it this year. I really should have read it this year, and I just didn't. But that is actually the end of the video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with the books that you wish you'd read in 2018. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out. If you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye!